Today we're going to begin our Picasso style portraits. Now, as we learned last time, Picasso is famous for making portraits that sort of have eyes and noses kind of mixed up and in the wrong places. Now, what makes these really interesting is that sometimes parts of Picasso's portraits look like they're from a profile view, which means from the side, and then other parts of them look like they're from the front. And it's sort of combined into the same artwork. Like, for example, this one looks like she's looking to the side, yet instead of just seeing the one eye, I can actually still see two eyes. So it's really kind of an interesting thing how Picasso played around with these two different viewpoints in one portrait. And we're going to experiment and have some fun with that today as well. Now, we're going to begin by getting 3 pieces of paper. We're going to need a colorful piece, a black piece, and a piece of newspaper. We're actually going to start with the colorful piece first. On this paper, we are going to begin by drawing an oval. You want your oval to be very large and take up most of the paper. So this oval is the basic shape for our head, and it's sort of what a head looks like from the front view. So we're starting with the front. You can also add some ears if you like. I'm just going to add kind of some half circles or half oval shapes to the side. And when you have a large face shape that you like, you can go ahead and cut it out. Don't crumple up your scraps because you could use those later. Just set them off to the side. Now, after you have cut this out, you are going to lay your head shape on the newspaper and you are going to trace around it with a pencil. I actually went ahead and used a black marker just so that you could see it a little bit better. So now we have the exact head shape traced onto our newspaper. Now here's where we're going to start working with the profile view. Right down the center of this shape, we're going to draw a line that makes it look like the head is facing to the side. So this is a little tricky. I've had a lot of practice doing this, but remember, if yours looks a little wonky and unusual, that's okay because that sort of goes along with our Picasso project. His portraits didn't really look realistic either. So what you do is you start at the top and you bring your line down for the forehead, in for the eye, out for the nose, and then back in. So the nose should kind of be like in the middle of the face. And then we can come back down here and do 2 bumps for the lips, and then out again for the chin. So you'll be drawing this with pencil so that if you need to make any changes, you can. And when you have a profile view that you like, you can go ahead and cut it out. So now that I've cut my pieces out, you should be able to choose which piece you want to use for half of your portrait. I think this one looks good. And it should fit in exactly like a puzzle piece since we traced that original shape onto the newspaper to begin with. So once you have this all laid out, we're going to glue it on with just a little tiny bit of glue. So when I'm gluing, I'm not holding my glue way up here. I'm just going to touch it to the paper and kind of rub a really, really thin kind of smear of glue. It's not like a big thick line of glue. I'm just kind of smearing it on, kind of using my glue like a marker, like coloring it, rubbing it. Okay, so I don't have any big globs, and then I can flip it over and glue it in place. Okay. And then, I can glue the whole head shape onto my black paper. Once that's glued on, if you want to use your scraps to cut out a neck, you can do that. I just use sort of like a half circle, semicircle shape. And then I can glue that on with the round part facing downwards. Cool. Now, hopefully everyone gets that far today, but if you finish early, I have some little small pieces of white paper, and we're going to use these to draw our eyes and our mouth. So the other day we practiced drawing some different Picasso eye shapes and mouth shapes with our Roll of Picasso game. So we're going to use these ideas to create eyes and mouths for our portrait. You don't have to use the exact ones here that are on the paper. You can make up your own idea, or you can kind of mix and match different ideas, but these are a really good starting place to help you get started. So we're going to use markers for this, and I'm going to go ahead and draw, I think, a profile view eye. So the profiles are the ones that are kind of like a sideways V with an oval at the side, and then the front view are the ones that are kind of more football shaped. So I think I'm going to do the sideways V1, and I'm going to make sure that I'm drawing it pretty big. I'm even going to hold it up to my portrait so that I make sure I have it the right size. And I'm going to start by drawing the sideways V. And then the oval. And then we can color it in using whatever colors we want. There we go. I like that blue and orange look, I think. Now, after you have 2 eyes and a mouth drawn, you can cut these out very carefully around the marker lines. I made sure that I left even kind of a little white edge around my shapes, and then we can glue these on as well. If you don't get your eyes and nose or eyes and mouth done today, that's okay. We can work on that next time too. All right. We're just going to press these on and then wait for our glue to dry.